Welcome, everybody, to Come Out Mondays. It's just for our community. And we're really here for two reasons. First of all, to establish mastery within ourselves instead of being victims. And in that process, to heal the hate wherever the hate is. Just give you a little heads up, go get yourself a journal. Hopefully you'll journal every single week in the Soul Connection Come Out Mondays. But tonight, especially, going to ask you three questions coming up. Hi, everybody. My name is Rick Schaefer. I have a Master of Divinity degree. It's a 4-year professional degree. I spent many years in broadcasting. I went to seminary, and I left all organized religion after just a few years after becoming a pastor because the light said, okay, Rick, we're going to send you to the desert of Phoenix. You're going to undergo the dark night of the soul, and you're going to receive a brand new gift. And after 15, 20 years in the desert of Phoenix, I did receive a gift, and my job now is to convey that to you and to help you reconnect your soul to the universe. I kind of joke around that I was tested, tried, beaten, and fried in the heat of Arizona. I also joke around that Buddha, it only took him 49 days. Jesus took him 40 days. Me, it took me 15 years or more. They all said no. I said yes. But at any rate, I am now the Master Connector, and my job is to help you find light and love and mastery within your life. But the most important person coming to this call tonight is you, because you bring your own unique identity, your own unique vibration, your own frequency, your beautiful, fabulous, wonderful self. And without you, things just wouldn't be the same tonight. So we're going to get into how do we discover mastery and how do we heal the hate. First of all, I'm going to ask you the first of three questions. The first question, write it down in your journal. Take just 60 seconds to do it. First thing comes to your mind, just write down the answer to this question. Who am I? Okay, take 60 seconds. Go ahead, write it down now. It's interesting, isn't it, what comes up? So what is the light? Well, you know, when, what do they say, 95% of the people who cross over go through that tunnel and they encounter that light, no matter whether they're, you know, atheist or agnostic or Christian or Buddhist or whatever, human beings just go to the light. Well, you can relax. We are not going to go to the light, but it is a component of that light. It's a ray of that beautiful, supporting, loving light that is known as absolute truth. And by the way, if we ever want to go to the light, they will not let us in. So don't worry, we're not going to go there tonight. Nobody crosses over there until it's their time. But the light shines down and it illuminates the entire field. The field all around the cosmos, the field around the universe, the field all around the earth. And I like it to say when we go through the soul connection, we go up and down the various dimensions depending upon what's happening on the earth, in our life, in the cosmos. Sometimes, like in an elevator, we go really high, in which case the feeling is very light. Sometimes we have to go into really low, which is our 3D living in our lives. That's a lower, heavier vibration. But in the soul connection, we are able to go out into this quantum field of life. And in the quantum field, there are all of the possible potentials of our lives. There's the good and the bad, and not only human life, it's animal life, it's the ecology, it's plant life, it's all of existence. All of the potentials are in the quantum field. And when we go into the quantum field, we are able to activate really the good things and then bring forward the things that our souls really need. And we do this every week. Specifically in our community, oh my goodness, you are so full of love. If you think about why you are so fabulous at what you do, why we are so fabulous at the things that we do in our community, it's because we have light within us. And this is not to say other people don't have this as well, but in our community, we are a mixture of both male and female light. That is the same thing as love. And so therefore, we really don't want to waste a lifetime before activating all of our potentials, all of our love, because it's right there in our DNA, and all we have to do is open it up, connect it, and activate it. Is this a safe process? Absolutely, it is a safe process. That's why we say our protection mantra before we go into the soul connection, and we ask to be surrounded only by absolute truth. So here's the next question. Ready? Take 60 seconds and write down the answer to this question. First thing comes to your mind. You ready? What do I want? Go ahead, write it down. Okay, you got it? All right. So what is the soul connection anyway? Well, it's not healthcare. We're not traditional religion, although we are a nonprofit organization. We have no dogma or creeds. We have no membership contracts to sign, nothing really to join. Our only dogma or creed is that your soul, will receive what it needs 100% of the time. And that means that whatever happens when you are in the soul connection is entirely between you and your own understanding of the light. But that's the only real creed that we have. The soul connection actually originated out of the Unity Consciousness movement in Santa Fe, New Mexico in 2004. I personally went there. I learned the beginnings of the technique of what is now the soul connection. It has, of course, been expanded greatly, enhanced. It's much more effective. But what happens in the soul connection is kind of like what Yogananda used to say. He said, the wave is the same as the ocean, but it's not the ocean. Well, for us, within our little protocol, our little method here, that you, the light in you, is the same as we'll call it the big light, but it is not the complete complexity of the light. It's just a portion of the light. But when we go through the soul connection, we always receive what our soul needs, and is surrounded by the truest vibration of love and of joy. So here's some of the things that can happen when we go through the soul connection. It happens, probably will happen to you tonight. It raises our energetic awareness of the energy around us. Sometimes it can strengthen our physical being. It helps us overcome conditions or situations in our lives. Many of us are on our path, some of us are not. Either way, it either enhances our path that we're already on, or it helps us get back on the right path. It will help others. It helps the planet. It helps us help the planet as well. And it certainly gives us a new understanding of how the scientific reality of the cosmos is put together. So what's really different about the soul connection? Well, we only have to spend 20 minutes in the soul connection, and this is what's different. We actually merge with the light. We connect the light in our DNA with the light coming down from the universe. When that connection takes place, and by the way, this takes practice over time, we merge, we become the light. And what's so special about the LGBTQ is that we bring our own energy into the light. And it's really interesting because the light is white, but the more we get into the soul connection, we realize the light is made up of all the different colors of the rainbow. And that's us. So without you, I want to say dearly beloved, but the word really is queerly beloved. Without you, things are just not the same. And there's something that happens when we in our community get together and we melt around this light. It's a special frequency. It's a very special vibration. So when we go into the light, a couple of things happen. First of all, when we connect, our individual souls receive what they need 100% of the time. We've kind of already talked about that. Now, the second component of this is really pretty exciting, and this is where we change the universe. Because when we are out in the field and we have access to all of these potentials, we are able to tap into the ones that are of higher frequency, the love and the light, and we can actually send it down to the planet or send it out to the cosmos or wherever it's supposed to be sent. I like to call this quantum activism. Now, a lot of us, myself included, we go to all kinds of protests and marches. We belong to maybe HRC or maybe a religious organization, something like that. We are working the activism on this side of the veil in our 3D lives. But when we go through the soul connection, bringing our own queer identity out into the field, we actually activate those other potentials and we send them down like a laser beam. And that's what I call quantum activism. And that's one of the ways that we can change the world from the other side. We use chakra tones in our soul connection process. These tones they're all over the internet and you can use them. They're full of energy themselves. But when we put them in the soul connection, it really harnesses that vibration and that frequency. Sometimes we go from the heart, sometimes we go from the crown, that is the head. It just depends on every single week. But those tones are playing in the background to help increase our vibration and zero in on where we're supposed to go. Because then we can send out waves of energy out into the universe and really affect major change. The light is to the soul what oxygen is to a diver. Light is the source of life itself. So without the light, our souls become disconnected. They begin to shut down. They become isolated. On the other hand, when our souls are open, happiness flows in, solutions flow in, light flows in, joy flows in. We are able to walk on our path. We can do what we're supposed to do here on the earth and do it with happiness, joy, and love. But if our light is cut off, and just look around the world, my goodness, just look all over the place, whatever sector you want to look, it's very dark. Those individuals are in isolation. They're reacting and being subjected to the lower, darker energy of the planet. That's because their souls are being cut off and they're not connected. So this is the really cool thing about this. And this is why we have to have repeated practices in the soul connection on Come Out Mondays. It's because the light, and you can use whatever it means to you. It could be angels or guides or teachers or energetic beings or energies or frequencies or whatever resonates with you. But they speak different languages, and they're trying to communicate with us, and we are trying to learn what they're having to say or what they're trying to tell us. So these are just some of the ways that they use a different kind of language to establish a relationship with us. Sometimes they allow us to go talk to relatives who has passed over on the other side, and those are always wonderful experiences. Sometimes they do speak English, not very often, but sometimes we'll hear words, and they'll just be short little phrases like, be here, or do this, or something like that. Lots of times they'll take us to a place and they'll show us something that we need to see. A lot of times they'll control our emotions. Some people have energy in them, maybe a past lover or a past experience of a negative experience of some kind, and that needs to come up out of us so that we can have a really good look at it and we can clear out that energy. So they use emotions to convey things to us. Another way they use emotions is like when I begin a call as the master connector, it's my job to make sure that we have the right environment for us. And so I ask the light, I say, show me the emotion that I'm supposed to carry forward in this call tonight. And so they will give me an emotion. That's the way this is supposed to feel. So, this is the way that it's going to feel after I complete thus and so, or this is the way it's going to feel after I do thus and so. Anyway, those are just some of the languages they speak to us, but we have to go into the soul connection repeated times to understand the different languages. And even when we understand all of them, they will still use a variety of ways to get with us, because they are full of support and love and majesty. And because of us, because of our unique abilities, our male-female energy and all that, they really, really, really want to get through to us. So here's where we want to end up. We want to end up walking a life, a path of mastery. We don't want to be victims anymore. We don't want to be looking over our shoulder that somebody's going to come after us. We don't want to be subject to a bunch of hateful legislation. We don't watch the news and have that negativity roll on us. No. We want to be masters of our own lives, masters of the universe, and actually we can affect change on the universe for the greater good. So when we're walking down the road of life, so to speak, we're still going to do the same things that we've always done. We go out with friends or go to Palm Springs for the weekend, or whatever we do, or go for our different groups, and yes, even go to our political activist groups. But whatever we do, we're doing our normal activities, but we're doing it from a perspective of light. Because when we have light in front of us, it's always guiding us, showing us the way, magnifying our magnificence, magnifying the fact that we are fabulous, fabulous human beings. And you, dear one, you're a good person. You are a great person. So the light helps us magnify all of those things. And that's what we mean by the path of queer mastery. So here's the last question. I want to ask you what you're really good at. Not, I'm really good at in spite of the fact that I'm LGBTQ. No. I want to know why you are really, really good at something precisely because you are LGBTQ+. All right? So, the next 60 seconds, write down, what are you really, really good at? Okay, go. Okay, again, to reiterate, the reason that we're asking these three questions is to illuminate the potentials within us, which are here tonight. They might not be here 3 months from now, 6 months, a year, but they're here tonight. And these are maybe some of the portals, the doorways that we can go through tonight to open ourselves up. Don't have to use them, but they're also very enlightening. They're just to kind of shake up our energy a little bit and give us a new path, a new view towards our mastery of queer mastery. One last little thing. A lot of times when we try to take on a new endeavor, such as the soul connection or something else, the ego doesn't like it. The ego does not like change. And actually, next week when we talk about the mind, we're going to talk about monkey mind and the ego and all that stuff. But for right now, just know that sometimes the ego will create diversions, scheduling conflicts. We have people that intend to come the following week and they don't show up. Well, I intended to show up, but guess what? Well, I had such and such a conflict. I mean, the ego is very powerful. What I call, it creates busyness, just busyness. Now, I mean, if you have an emergency call from work or family members, I'm not talking about that. Of course, you have to take care of that. But a lot of times, people will not come. Well, a friend called. I had to go to dinner. Well, this is part of mastery, and this is really our first test of mastery, to understand what the ego is doing. So when we are aware of this, that the ego is creating busyness, we are able to say to the ego, okay, ego, I see what you're doing. Don't suppress it. Don't argue with it. Don't try to put it down, but you just acknowledge it and move on. Oh, I see, ego. Okay, I know what you're doing. Okay, but it's safe. I'm gonna move over here. So this ends the portion, our first class, Come Out Mondays on the Soul Connection. We invite you to respond to the invitation that you got or request an invitation to Come Out Mondays, a part of the Soul Connection. All you have to do is go to the password protected website, which your friends probably already told you about, or just send us an email and we'll send you the information, okay? Until we see you in the Soul Connection on Come Out Mondays, see you next week when we talk about the mind. Bye, everybody. You are, oh my goodness, you are fabulous.